Right, so the question is, can the system without a dedicated graphics card handle Call of Duty Black Ops 4? And if it can actually start the game, is it a good experience? Let's find out. Hey, how is it going, guys? It's Robin here, super psyched you made it. On this channel you'll find PC components, tech edits and console accessories, as well as unboxings and product reviews, all gaming related, should say. Now if you're all new here, you want to subscribe, don't forget to tap the notification bell so that you don't miss out whenever I upload another video. Now in this video we're gonna try to run Call of Duty Black Ops 4 on a computer I spent around $300 on. Now, will Call of Duty even start, or will we witness another blue screen? Let's find out. So I gotta say, guys, I'm super pumped as hell, and yeah, I gotta admit, before I came up with this silly idea, I didn't thought this would even be possible, I tell you that. But after been playing Call of Duty Black Ops 4 for a couple of hours on my other gaming rig, my main gaming rig so to speak, hands up if you tried the game, by the way. I gotta say, the game is not the best. It's not the best looking game I've ever seen, even with everything turned up to max. So perhaps this $300 gaming PC without a graphics card might be able to run it. We'll see about that. By the way, full specification on this budget PC can be found down below. Now, before we fire up the game, let's have a look at the minimum requirement. So, what does it say? Operating system Windows 7. We are running Windows 10, so we're gonna be cool here. In terms of CPU, Activision is recommending the Intel Core i3 4340 or the AMD FX 6300. Now either of these two are that powerful. The Core i3, for example, is a dual core processor clocked at 3.6 GHz that came out in 2013, and as for the AMD FX 6300, that is a 6-core processor clocked at 3.5, but this is Piledriver, and although Piledriver was better than the Bulldozer architecture, this is not the hottest 6-core CPU on the market right now, so things are still looking pretty good for us. Keep in mind, we got a $150 4-core CPU, and our CPU is clocked at 3.6, but we are running with AMD's latest Ryzen processor based on the Zen Plus architecture, so we should be pretty good here in terms of processor power. Now let's move on. Now in terms of RAM, we need 8 GB to start the game, and we got that. Hard drive, hard disk, we need 80 GB, we got that. That's cool. In terms of video, NVIDIA GeForce GTX 660 and 2 gigs of VRAM, or the Radeon HD 7952 gigs VRAM. Now here's the problem, guys. Now we got an iGPU, which is an integrated video card chip on the processor, which doesn't have any video memory by itself, so it needs to sort of borrow that from the system, in this case the 8 GB RAM. Now that the game seems to require at least 2 gigs of VRAM, and we only got 8 GB for the whole system, we gonna be running pretty short here, so technically our system does not meet the minimum requirement here. Now in terms of DX11, we are good. So with that said, let's all prepare for some blue screens. And as I was starting up the game, boom, we got this message right away saying that the system falls below the minimum requirement. Anyway, let's see what happens. Worst case, we blow up everything. I'm just kidding, guys. Now, all jokes aside, quite surprised here as I was starting up the game and I was seeing pretty high numbers. Now, on the upper left side corner, guys, you can see the frame rate in yellow, and we're seeing around 30 FPS in the menu, which is totally okay, considering the fact that the Call of Duty Black Ops 4 by default selects a pretty high graphic preset. So I decided to jump into a blackout match, and after been staring at the loading screen for quite a while, actually I went straight into the graphics settings and I decided to scale back on the texture filtering quality. I set that one to normal and I left AA, which by the way is set to very high in Call of Duty Black Ops 4 by default for some reason. Decided to set that one to off cause this has a pretty severe effect on the frame rate. So if we can earn a few frames here, we definitely wanna do that on this budget system. So as you can see guys, right off the helicopter we're seeing around 20 FPS and there seems to be a lot of missing frames here. Now why is it so choppy, you may ask? It's because we're running low on video memory. Now once we landed, I went into a building and immediately we started to see frames as high as the 40+ mark. Regardless, it is not a pleasant experience, so I decided to scale back on the render resolution all the way to 60%. Now things started to look a lot better and I was having a pretty fun time in Blackout, I gotta say. Although it should be said, I failed to kill anyone, but that is not the PC's fault however. And so with everything pretty much set to low, you should expect 15 frames average or around that number. Frame rate fluctuate a lot depending if you're inside or if you're outside, driving around or flying in a helicopter. After I've been playing for a while with 60% scaling however, with everything left to low, I'm happy to report that Black Ops 4 is quite enjoyable even without the graphics card, believe it or not. And if you're okay with the game that is pretty simple looking at this point, it kind of looks a little bit more like Minecraft than a first-person shooter in my opinion at this point, but who cares? We're able to achieve an average frame rate of 40 to 42 FPS with tops at the 60 mark and lows at 25. Definitely playable if you're okay with the frame dips once in a while. Keep in mind things like special effect shadows, weapon shadows, subsurface scattering and global illumination quality is all set to on or default because it keeps the game from looking completely blunt and too boring. And so it's a decision I decided to make, cause after all, if you're actually going to consider playing with these settings, you're gonna have to live with yourself as well. So can you run Call of Duty Black Ops 4 with 8 gigs of total system memory and no graphics card? Yes, you can. Now if you have the very same Ryzen 2400G and no graphics card and 8 gigs of RAM, you should be able to run Call of Duty Black Ops 4 with reasonable results as seen in this video. I gotta say guys, I also had a few blue screens, decided not to record them, but it's something worth mentioning. Now if you have an older PC that doesn't quite meet the minimum requirement, make sure you have the latest driver available for to whatever graphics card you have. Also, if you can, run Windows 10 and also make sure it's just the game you have running in the background and no other processes or software running in the background such as Spotify, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram or whatever. You need to shut all of these softwares down, otherwise you will run out of memory for sure. Also, you gotta have your fingers crossed as well, but this kind of shows that this game is quite scalable and you should be able to run this game pretty alright even with an older PC. And with that said, I kind of conclude this video guys. Let me know what other games would you like me to test on this budget system. Let me know in the comments below, and also thank you so much for watching this video, and until next time, have an awesome day. Alright, bye.